to the floor now. I'm sure we've got plenty of questions. Please remember to give your name and publication. Who's going to start, please?
Hi, Silja Rulle for Bild. My question is to Max. First of all, congratulations. Do you feel sorry for Lewis for the way he lost his championship?
No, I don't feel sorry, but I can understand, of course, that it can be very painful. But at the end of the day, that's racing as well. You know, you have to just keep fighting till the end, and you know that in racing anything can happen. And I mean, he also won a championship like that. So, yeah, I think he can understand as well.
Thank you. Next one.
Fred Ferrer, l'équipe. Question to Max. Have you been bothered by the threat of Mercedes since Sunday to get an appeal?
Not really. I mean, we were having a really good time as a team as well, because we knew that we won it on track when there was a green light or a green flag, you know, so nobody could ever take that away from us. So, yeah, I was in a good mood.
Christian, can we get your thoughts on that?
On what, sorry?
Just the threat of Mercedes appealing since Sunday.
We didn't really feel that, you know, there was the grounds for a threat. We obviously were in front of the stewards for quite a while, and obviously there was a great deal of discussion over what happened. But you know, safety cars are usual in Formula One, and we've seen it in, you know, throughout this season. We've seen and obviously the determination of the race director is always to get the race going again, and you know, that's been a clear mandate. You know, for many years now. So a lot is made of it, but you know, that's the way it is. I mean, we've had so many decisions go against us. You know, earlier in the race, we felt, you know, some of those decisions in Saudi had gone against us. We felt that we'd had bad luck. You know, for example, in Imola, you know, Lewis is in the gravel trap, out the race, a lap down, and his teammate crashes with a Williams. And he gets the lap back, and he's second on the grid, and he finishes second. The crash at Silverstone, a red flag. He gets a penalty, but he still wins the race with the fastest lap. So, you know, we felt that many things have gone against us this year, but, you know, things have a habit of working themselves out and balancing themselves over the course of the year. And I think I said on the commentary on the pit wall that, you know, the championship looked like it was gone. You know, Lewis and Mercedes had the quicker package, you know, in Abu Dhabi, and I said it's going to take something from the racing gods, and you know, I'm quite pleased I've got a direct line now. Obviously, if we're not talking to Michael in future, maybe I'll keep using that line.
Thank you. Next one, please.
Lawrence Edmondson, ESPN. Question for Max. We talked to Soto today, and he said that Lewis is quite disillusioned by what happened, and he couldn't guarantee that Lewis would come back to race next year. So can you understand Lewis's position, and how bad would it be for Formula One if Lewis didn't come back after the great battle you two guys had this year?
Well, I mean, of course, I can understand that the first few days after a race like that, you know, you're not happy. But you should also understand, like I said before, this is racing at the end of the day, and these things can happen to you. And I think he should just look back at what he has achieved already. And that should give him a lot of comfort, and should also be that drive to just keep on going, because he is still, you know, trying to challenge for that A title, and for sure he can do that again next year. So I don't see any reason why, you know, to give up or stop now.
Thanks, Max.
Masahiro Wari. I'd like to say congratulations on behalf of all Japanese people. And I haven't seen the driver who had such a good relationship with Honda. So how could you build a good relationship with Honda? And the second question is, after the podium ceremony, Tanabe-san and all Honda people crying and hugging each other. Could you please give any comment for them?
Well, I think I can answer these two things in one go, because I think the relationship, and you know, it's been amazing. Also, you know, where they come from, and then starting with us, you know, we really believed in the project, and we really wanted to succeed together and be successful. And, we were already very emotional when we had our first win together. And it only got better from there, just because also they never gave up. They always kept pushing and believing that they could do it. And, over time, you could really see that progress. And also, what I thought was very impressive already, that, they had an engine designed for 2022, and they're like, well, let's bring it 1 year forward. That's quite impressive to do so. And, it really helped us forward. If we didn't have that engine as well, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And, everyone within Honda, they're very passionate and very emotional as well. So I can fully understand that, after the race, they were hugging each other and crying, because they're already crying at our first race win. So, it has been really amazing to be able to work with them.
Christian, is the relationship with Honda the best the team has had with any manufacturer in Formula One?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the passion, the commitment, just the work ethic of Honda. I mean, when they came back into the sport, they had a hard time. They kept their heads down. They worked hard at it. From day one of this relationship with them, it's been phenomenal. And you just see, through their culture, the work ethic that they have. I mean, this engine for this year was brought forward 12 months. And, were it not for the incident at Silverstone, Max would have done the entire season on 3 engines. And, it's a great shame that Honda are leaving Formula One officially at the end of this season. And so, of course, the first World Championship for them in 30 years, the first Drivers' World Championship since Ayrton Senna in 1991, is an enormous, moment for them. And Tanabe-san was there 30 years ago to witness that. He looks remarkably similar 30 years later, and he's the type of guy that we haven't seen smile in 3 years. But removing his mask on Sunday, there was the biggest smile from ear to ear. And we're tremendously proud of what we've achieved with Honda. We're tremendously grateful for everything that they've provided and given us. And we now look forward to a future without Honda officially, but still maintaining a relationship with them over the next few years.
Max has spoken about the intensity of this battle for him. How draining has it been for you? Because while we've had everything going on in 2021, you've also been looking ahead with Red Bull powertrains. Has this been your hardest season in Formula One?
Oh, it's been up there. I mean, it's certainly been pretty intense from the beginning of the year when we were discussing about the engine freeze or not, and that was imperative to our strategy with the engines and whether we could agree and make an agreement with Honda. That obviously went through during, February. And then creating an engine department and engine facility, has been very, very busy behind the scene, bringing some great talent into Red Bull Racing. It's a tremendously exciting period for us as, we grow from being just a chassis manufacturer to having engines, designed and produced on site. So, yeah, a lot going on behind the scenes this year. And of course, a lot of on-track, action. And, I've had a busy year, I think.
I think you have. Let's go back to the floor. Next question, please.
Julien Billiot to Hebdo. First of all, many congratulations to both gentlemen. A couple of questions. Max, you keep repeating that you have achieved your target in Formula One, but surely this title has made you hungry for more. How hungry? And to Christian, how does this title compare to the 4 you had with Seb?
First I'll have a bit of sleep the coming days and weeks, and then I'm sure that once it turns the 1st of January, I'm ready to go again, because of course I love what I'm doing and I love being part of the team. So I already said it on the radio in the in-lap, I want to do this with this team for another 10, 15 years. So hopefully within those years, of course, we can win more championships, because that's always been the goal.
Sorry, what was the question for me?
How does this championship compare to the ones with Seb? Yeah.
I mean, it's always difficult to make comparisons, but I think the first title was very special, but this feels, because that was against the odds as well, and I think that this one feels equally as special as that very first title, and I think the intensity and the competitiveness of this one has been insane, and I think the fact that it's against the quality of opposition that we've had in both Lewis and the Mercedes team, has stretched us to probably beyond what we even thought we were capable of. And I think that's what makes it even more rewarding, that during the hybrid era, Mercedes have been all dominant. They've annihilated the opposition. And finally, we've managed to produce a competitive car, and Max has grabbed it with both hands. And to manage to come out on top with the biggest title on offering in motorsport is a tremendously proud moment for us. And obviously, we're tremendously proud of what Max has achieved.
Thank you. Next, please.
Dieter Renken, Racing Lines. Christian, based on what you just said, obviously at the beginning of the year you had two objectives. One was the Drivers' Championship and the other was the Constructors' Championship. You achieved the one, which is probably going to cost you money, but you didn't achieve the other, which doesn't get you as much money as you would have liked. Could you just run us through how important the Constructors' Championship is to the team overall as opposed to the drivers?
Well, the Constructors is where the money is. That is where the revenues that come into the sport are distributed based on your performance in the championship. And I think every employee within our team, probably in most of the teams, is rewarded on where they are in the Constructors' Championship as opposed to the drivers. Now, the drivers obviously has the popularity and it has the prestige. And I don't think there's a single employee within our business that would have traded a first place in the Constructors for this Drivers' Championship. Everybody, and when you see the reaction that Max had when he visited the factory yesterday, is so proud of what he's achieved. And I think that, of course, the Constructors has huge importance to it because of that revenue distribution. We're talking millions and millions of dollars in difference between a first and a second place, for example. But the prestige of the Drivers' World Championship, that's the big one. That's the one that you really want. And that's why it meant so much achieving that on Sunday evening.
Thank you. I believe we have one more question from the floor in here. Yes, off you go.
Pierre Gabas from Associated Press. It's for Christian. I just would like to know how many times do you expect to keep Max in your team?
Well, he said for 15 years, so I have the paperwork with me tonight, and it should be very straightforward. But look, it's relationships, I think, are not about contracts. It is exactly about relationships. And Max, he came into the team as almost a boy, and he's grown into a young man, and he's grown with the team. And I think that the relationship that we share, the trust that we share in each other, is worth more than any piece of paper. And I think that I look forward to racing with Max for many years to come, and I believe that the best years are very much still to come.
Thank you. We're going to go to the Zoom now, the video conference. And Christian Nimmervoll, please, motorsport.com, you're first.
Thank you, Tom. Question is to Max. First of all, congratulations. It must have been nerve-wracking to wait first for the verdict at Abu Dhabi, and then for Mercedes to withdraw their appeal. Can you let us know who told you first at Abu Dhabi and then this morning about the decisions? And also, can you let us know about your feelings when you didn't yet know this would turn out good for you?
It was more in Abu Dhabi. I mean, there were two protests coming against us, but it was a little bit of a longer way. But I mean, nevertheless, we were still celebrating. And then once, of course, there was the all clear on that night, we had another celebration. So we basically had the double celebration. And since then, I haven't really thought about it too much. And then, of course, this morning, when I heard the news, I was happy about it, but I also expected it.
Thank you. John Noble, please. Autosport, you're next.
Thank you. Question for both Christian and Max. Obviously, you got the result you wanted on Sunday, and it comes at the end of a brilliant campaign. But I just wondered if there's any slight annoyance that this week, that should have been a week of celebration, has been overshadowed by kind of controversy, and even the FI admitting the image of F1 has been tarnished by the events and something that you were not involved in at all.
Who'd like to start?
I'll start on that one. I mean, Johnny, you've been around a long time, and you know that people in this business have very short memories. I mean, we've even forgot what's happened earlier this year. It's been such a long racing season. I think that Max is absolutely the deserving world champion when you look at the championship as a whole. And I think that, of course, you know, the events on Sunday have drawn an awful lot of comment. But, you know, that happens. It happens in sport. And I think that, yeah, we've had a lot of bad luck this year. We got fortunate with a safety car. We made the right strategic calls. We won the race, you know, and great strategy, great teamwork, great execution by Max. And, you know, time will move on. And, you know, Max is a very, very deserving world champion. And we're incredibly proud of that. And, you know, the history books will always show that, you know, he's the 2021 world champion.
Max, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, say for me, I mean, even, you know, with championships which have been won like 30 years ago or whatever, you know, has also been sometimes a bit controversial. But nowadays, I guess people, when they look back at footages like that, they actually enjoy it. So it's just part of the sport.
Thank you. Let's go to RTL Netherlands next, please. Martin Schmeers.